I just wanted to ask each of you to say, in a sentence, where journalism is going to be in 10 years, and you just have to say it in a sentence, and then we'll get into detail. And Anthony looks like the kind of guy who knows what to say. So you first, Anthony.
In one sentence?
Two.
It will be all over the place. I think that is where journalism is heading. It's like so many aspects of the culture. I think it's penetrating into areas where it never was before. It's inviting participants who had never been able to participate before, and there's going to be more of it rather than less of it.
So you sound happy about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd love for people to get paid.
I like that's another question, but
Exactly.
But there's going to be more of it. It's all over the place. Paul Hendrickson?
I don't know where it's going. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I do know is that storytelling is not going to go away, and that one way or another, we're going to figure out how to do that, from 140 characters on tweet, which I know nothing about, to
because it's called Twitter.
Twitter.
You were going to the wrong place.
To the long form. And Dick and I, great minds think alike. He's going to quote something, I think, from David Carr, who just wrote a piece a week ago Monday, that there is some salvation out there. There's a new website called Atavist, which is going to promote and sponsor long form journalism, and you're going to get paid for it. So it's not going to go away. They've been telling stories since campfire days, so that's going to continue.
Thank you. And I'll be every once in a while praise for Maury, our conversations. One of the first things he said was, I'm not necessarily supporting short-form deadline journalism. I think that's important. I also want to support storytelling that's journalistic, nonfiction, creative nonfiction, long-form. And that's been very important. And that's why it's a good partnership, because that's what we want to do. Dick, I bought you a little time to think about that.
Okay, beyond what everybody has said. Well, first of all, the first sentence would be that I think the future in journalism in a lot of ways is among the students in this room, the great students. Who are
so
in this
only
room.
A few of them. Why make that distinction?
Many,
all of them.
All the students in this room, so many of whom I have in class, and I mean that sincerely in the sense that this is where the energy is going to come from. There's so much demand still to be storytellers, and there's so much hunger to learn about how to tell storytelling properly. And I think that's a universal. It's not going to go away. And I think students this generation is going to help develop the kind of new platforms, across platforms, the new business models that I think are going to be prevalent 10 years from now, because there's just too much pent-up inherent dynamism, I think, in this culture.
Great. There's a theme here. Avery?
I hate to be unanimous in this, but I think the future of journalism is very bright, actually. I think the form in which it appears is not certain, but I see that the different levels of technology that yield the story, whether it's video or audio or documentation or narrative, are all come together in the service of a great story. And I think the appetite for it is greater than ever. I think people are hungry for it, and Penn students are hungry to do it.
Paul's in this too, but I want you to answer this one. You, at a certain point, you started to teach here, and you were blogging fairly early, and you were still writing for the Inquirer, great stuff, covering the national political beat. And then, things worked out here, and you jumped ship, and you came to teach full-time, which meant you left the full-time employ of the Inquirer. I don't want you say happily or unhappily. You did it. You said goodbye, and you came over to teach, which is a great thing. And you continue to blog, and you found a new home for your blog. Paul also, before the craziness of the last era, left because it was time to write longer, more thoughtful things, books, as a matter of fact. So can you comment on that transition? It was personally lots of fun, but does this have anything to do with where journalism is going? It does, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does, in terms of giving a new new home to aging journalists who may wonder whether they're going to be able to survive the ongoing downsizing of the newspapers.
Say more about that anxiety.
I mean, there is something about that. I mean, I tried to sort of turn the paradigm to my advantage by anchoring here, but also being able to sort of spread my work around among more platforms, so new media platforms, and so every morning, I still every weekday morning, by 11 a.m. I want to have 800, 900 words online, and and that's a taxing challenge, but that's fine. I'm happy to do it. But and what a great segue back to what we were just talking about. But what worries me about
no, don't segue yet. It's not
this was a good segue.
But blogging every day, and I read you every day.
I want to get it off
blogging
me.
every day. Sorry, it's about you. Blogging every day, and it's hard. You do it, and you cover and I read you, and I compare you to other things. You're not the only one I read about politics,
I hope not.
but you do it every day, and it's good, and it's not really remunerative. I don't want you to get into the details, but you're no longer salaried with benefits to do that. You're doing it sort of on your own, sort of with HYY, sort of with pen as your letterhead.
Right.
That's a weird new thing.
Right.
Okay,
right.
now
Is that okay?
But it's driven. No, but it's first of all, it's just driven by a love of what I do, which hasn't diminished at all.
Let's stop right there for 1 second.
Is that what you wanted to get?
Driven because he wants to write in whatever situations he's in.
And
use
I
it
have
in class, too.
I have a paradox here that I would like to address to you.
Okay, please.
Which is, in this era, when there aren't any jobs, my joke is there were 10 jobs for hire last year in journalism. My own younger son got one. Why is it, Al, that these courses are more than ever, more plentiful than ever? Kids want to do it. You guys want to do it. You're not dumb. You got into the University of Pennsylvania. You're smart as hell, and you figure out there's no jobs out there, but you still have the hunger to get into these courses with the hope, with the dream. So I have to think that's exactly what you said, that the love of the thing is driving you, even though you know the odds are tremendously stacked against you. I thought it was hard when my generation was looking for jobs. It was a piece of cake.
Yeah, well, it's instinctive. The love is instinctive. I'm sure many of you in this room, young people know, at some point, maybe you're in high school, I don't know when it happened, but you just know instinctively that this is what interests you and this is what it drives you, and so of course you're going to be, you're going to want to pursue it because it comes from deep inside, and then you'll figure it out later on how you're going to land, and you will.